Hello, my love. Welcome to 2026. It's a 1 year. If you add 2026 up, you get a one. And that means it's a new beginning. It's a really beautiful new opportunity and start. We are closing out a 9 year, which is often kind of going through the muck and getting things ironed out. And now we're starting fresh with this new one energy. So anything that you're working on that needs to be birthed, now is the time to release and to share your message and to speak your truth and to follow your bliss and do all the things that you've been dreaming and knowing you're here to do. And I actually just sat in ceremony with some psilocybin a couple days ago, and I had gone in with the intention to know what I need to do to make Conscious Kitchen successful. And like, what do I need to release? What do I need to step into? What version of me needs to come out in order to really make this business successful? And it was so potent. I heard, get out of the way. It's not about you. It's not about your success. It's about being on purpose and supporting humanity and reconnecting to nature. And what does that look like? Detoxifying our world, detoxifying our homes, detoxifying our body, detoxifying the thoughts that keep us stuck and create dis-ease in the body. And when we do that, we learn how to nourish ourselves with healthy food that is toxicity free, right? And we live in a toxin free home, and we start honoring Mother Nature with more respect. With every single action we take throughout the day, we consider, okay, how is this going to impact the planet? Do I need 4 sips of water from a plastic water bottle that's now going to sit on the planet for 75 years? Because it doesn't decompose that for that long, if ever. So what does that look like in your life? And I just heard so clearly, it's not about me succeeding. It's about me tuning in to how to be of greatest service on this mission. And who do I need to interview? Who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to tune into and support through their own personal journey with cleansing their bodies and their own dis-ease in the body? Because if you're experiencing any dis-ease in the body, and by that I mean it can be as simple as headaches, tired, weight gain, brain fog. Those are some of the beginning symptoms, all the way to cancer, diabetes, heart disease, like really full blown diagnoses. At what point do you start listening to your body and recognizing that your body's been trying to talk to you and say, hey, some part of your life, and usually a combination of a few things, is off track? And what do you need to do in order to support your body and getting you back on track so that you can feel ease in your body? And you'll know when you've detoxed your home, your body, your mind of the toxic thoughts, and you start providing your body with the nutrients that the brain fog lifts, the inflammation immediately. It's like one of the first things that happens in a cleanse. The inflammation goes down. And then comes the excess weight. And then the emotions get released because we're not using food as a coping mechanism. And so we get to sit with these emotions and start to tune into what are the actual stories that we've been navigating that are not true, that again are causing dis-ease in the body. And often they start as really healthy coping mechanisms in childhood. Narcissism is a healthy coping mechanism in childhood. If you're not getting your needs met, because maybe your parent is amazing and they love you like crazy, but they're distracted. They've got so much happening. They're trying to pay bills. They're trying to get you to school. They're trying to like do all the things. We've got phones. We've got all these like unnatural way of living, and we're not getting into nature like we used to. We're not drinking clean, pure water. We're not sitting in community and living in a village where we have the support. We're so far from natural living that it's normal for kids to sometimes not get their needs met, or they're given a screen to just like, please give me a moment. I get it. No disrespect to parents. It's not an easy job. But what can happen in those formative years from 0 to 7, when your brain is literally designed to take things personally. So if you're not getting your needs met, your brain is actually designed to interpret that as I'm somehow not good enough to get my needs met. And then we create these stories. I'm not lovable. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not capable of getting it. If you had a hypercritical mama, and without that being true per se, most likely it's not true at all. It's just that our brains are interpreting that way to keep us safe, to keep us protected, to keep us alive. And so it's kind of a flaw in the system, but then it can also be used as your greatest gift. Because when you tune into these stories and you learn how to reframe them, first of all, you got to identify them. But then when you learn how to reframe them, they can become your greatest gift because you can see those stories in others and support them and empowering them into their highest selves. Or maybe it's learning to speak your truth with a bully in your life, or coming into service and really tuning in what does that look like? And that's the juice of the juice cleanse, if you will, is we guide people through this beautiful conscious cleanse where we detox the home, the body, and the mind. There's 3 sections there. Then we teach you actually nutrition 101. What is your body designed to consume? And how to prepare the food in an easy, delicious way so that you're eating anti-inflammatory healing foods that also are so delicious and so satiating that you don't need a giant pile, and moves you away from this preservatives culture that we've created where the food can last on a shelf for 2 years. So that's designed for nothing in nature to break it down. And basically it's designed for the bacteria walls to become disrupted to where they can't absorb nutrients and it kills the bacteria. Well, we rely on bacteria to digest our food. So we're consuming foods that are designed to kill bacteria, which is literally that your immune system is housed in your gut. 70% of your serotonin production is housed in your gut, is made in your gut. So if we're killing off these very things that are keeping us sustained and happy and motivated and nourished and fed, of course we're going to feel depleted and demotivated and inflamed and all of these symptoms, brain fog. It's natural and it should be a very clear, I don't say should often, but this is a very clear message and signaling system to you that some part of what you're consuming, both from food perspective, drinking, breathing, media, what are you consuming? What are you allowing in? Relationship dynamics that are toxic. What are you allowing in that is causing dis-ease? And I'm going to make this podcast super short because it's really the main message here twofold. Number one, we have the support system to get you through that dynamic and more empowered in a clean, clear channel to really receive the guidance and the messages and the intuition and the inner wisdom to tune into that inner compass that you have when you're a clean vessel, so much more clear to then live on purpose. And what I heard during this journey is get out of the way. What that also meant is stop trying to be perfect. It's not about having a perfect podcast or never saying, which of course the script can delete all of them in one click now, but it's not even about that. Of course, I want you to like step up in your excellence and hire a coach and do all the things to like show up your best. But don't stop yourself if you have a clear message. Do not stop yourself. This is one thing I want to really empower everyone. This is what I heard so clearly is like get out of your way meant be the conduit to what needs to flow through you to support humanity and elevating and whatever that looks like to you. To me, it's in like in getting us to understand that all animals on this planet are sentient beings. They feel. And so if we're putting a cow through torture, if we're cutting a chicken's beak off at birth, the most sensitive part of their body so that they don't peck each other, like it just horrific. We're literally, what is the word with a pig? They're castrating them without anesthesia, with fingers pulling out their organs. Like it's unimaginable cruelty. And I want this to end so badly. And I haven't spoken up because of fear that I get rejected by the people that I love that want to consume meat and want to consume animals. But this behavior has to stop, and I can't be quiet anymore. And I can't wait until I learn how to perfectly say it so I don't offend anyone. I'm doing a disservice to every animal on this planet that's being tortured if I stay quiet and I stay playing small because I want everyone to like me. No, no, enough is enough. Like, I need to speak up for the things that are important to me. And this is really, really what kind of race takes a baby away from its mama at 3 days old and then steals the baby's milk? Like, it's unimaginable if we actually put our minds to this that we would do this consciously. And then most people don't do it consciously. They're not in their thought process. They're just buying milk and they just want tender baby back ribs. But it's in the title. And we've disguised so much of this as just saying meat or bacon, but no, that's an animal's body part. A tender baby back rib so that we're going to put a baby in a crate where it can't even rotate and it's tied down so it can't play, it can't enjoy its childhood so that its muscles don't develop and they stay soft so we can chew on that. Like, unimaginable to me. People ask me all the time, do you miss meat? I was like, no, and not even 1 ounce. And I do my best not to tell people what to do. I can only share what resonates for me and what works for me and what works for my body. But there is no way I would consume another animal. Can't. Because I know that belonged to an animal that had feelings and that had emotions and it didn't want to die. Like, I would never look at a deer and think, yes, I want to shoot that in the face and eat its body parts. Like, no. What? How? The concept of conscious killing is just, it's cute. Like, good try, buddies. Like, I appreciate the effort, and any hunter will tell you they feel remorse and they're lying to themselves, or they've learned to numb it out as a kid because their father took them hunting and that's what you do. Yeah. So I had to share that because I want to demonstrate what it looks like to speak your truth and then give you choice. Look, you choose what feels aligned to you. But my job is to speak my truth. And I want to empower you in that position as well. If there is something burning inside of you that you want to change about this world, please have the courage to speak up. And again, do it in a way that people have choice. This is what works for me. This is what lands for me. I've been studying Buddhism and it hit me at 15 years old when I studied that the monks sweep the floor so that they don't step on ants. Like, that level of respect for every sentient being on this planet landed for me. And I became vegan right away, immediately. And no, that doesn't mean I'm perfect. I've had owned leather things. I've eaten eggs here and there. Like, it doesn't have to always be an all or nothing. And there can be so many more things that we can do to support humanity and elevating the way we live so that more consciousness, more awareness, more love gets brought into each step of our day. And that starts really with self-love. Like, how do we honor what we need? What is your body? How often do you actually tune into your body and say, okay, what do you need today? Do you start your day this way? Talk to me, body. What do you need today? Maybe it's a bath. Maybe it's to call a friend. Maybe it's a walk in nature. If you hear a Philly cheesesteak, that's a coping mechanism. And so you get to start navigating. That's one of the blessings of a juice cleanse or a cleanse in general is you get so clear on what is a coping mechanism versus your body's innate wisdom. I'm craving an avocado. I had a client go through this, my cleanse, and he was all of a sudden he was craving a cheesesteak because he was having a really tough time at work. It was like a stressful time, and he suddenly was mad at me and he wanted a cheesesteak. And I was like, okay, let's sit with what's coming up. Like, what is that? Oh, well, the root source of it was actually that his brother was a tyrant and really evil, and he had this hate in his body. And his boss kind of resembled that in a way to him. And it brought up this whole dynamic that he just wanted to shove down and not look at. Philly cheesesteak did that for him. And then a few days later, he kept going with the cleanse, and all of a sudden he was craving an avocado. An avocado is healthy fats. That's your body's innate wisdom saying, I need some healthy fats in this moment to support with some of my brain fog that I'm experiencing because of the cleanse. And we could blend half an avocado into his juice, and instantly his nervous system would have been at ease. But that's the nuance there that you get to start to learn how to tune into the body and say, okay, is this good for me? And you get a yes or a no. And that is much more clear. Those messages, those signals are very subtle at first, but they become loud when you go through a cleanse and you clean out the body, you clean out the toxicity, the muck, right? Literally the muck, the sludge that's dulling your senses. And you become this refined tuning fork to navigating. And now I literally tune in. I'm like, all right, angels. I see my two angels, top right corner, top left corner. And I'm like, what do I need to know today? Like, how do is it time to move? That was one story that happened to me recently. I was like, I feel like it's time to move. Is it time? Give me a really clear sign that it's time to move. And I've heard that angels they can't intervene. They need to be assigned an assignment. And so when I asked, I said, all right, give me a really clear sign that it's time to move. I heard pull a card. So I pulled a card. And this card, normally like one will kind of stick out and you're like, is it that one? No, this card flipped out of the deck, landed on my lap, up, face up, and it said, "Get out of your comfort zone. And try something new." Got it. That was a clear sign. All right, Spirit. Who do I call? Like, where am I going? And I heard, "Call Elizabeth." I was like, okay. I called Elizabeth. Turns out she doesn't have a room. Her room just got rented, but Kiki just called. And Kiki has a room. And Kiki lives exactly where I wanted, with a walk-in closet on a stream. I wanted to be in nature, in town, with a walk-in closet, with my own kind of like my own wing. And she's got the whole bottom downstairs. I got the tops upstairs. Like, got everything I could have imagined and desired, only because I've cleaned my body, and I've learned to tune into spirit and tune into my own wisdom, and then trust what I hear and follow through, and boom, magic happens. And this can be for you as well throughout your entire life. Like, okay, what's next for me? Show me a really clear sign. What's next for me? And you might be driving down the road, and you'll see a sign on the back of a bus that says "Move to Bali," or you'll hear, "Go to this coffee shop." And you're like, "I don't want coffee today." Go to this coffee shop, and you go and you sit down. And you sit down next to the exact person that leads you to the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and you just keep tuning in, asking for guidance, and you will be guided. You will be guided. And if this isn't clear, if the messages are so subtle you can barely hear them, it's time for a cleanse. If your body feels diseased, it doesn't mean you have to have a full diagnosis, but if you do, please, it's time to pay attention. But ideally, you don't wait till then. Ideally, you start paying attention to the little pebbles that get thrown at you now, like the weight gain, the inflammation, the tiredness, the brain fog. Those are small little pebbles saying something you're doing's off track. Start listening. And please come into the Conscious Kitchen, talk with me, talk with my mama. We're here to support. We've been through this. My mother's reversed her cancer. I've got type 1 diabetes that I'm managing with so much more ease now. And I'll tell you, it was one thing to shift my diet that had a big impact, but it was a whole game changer when I shifted the inner dialogue that was keeping me playing small, that was telling me that I'm not good enough or I won't get it right. I had this very harsh inner critic that was I wanted to escape from. For decades, the first 2 decades of my adult life, I drank like a fish. I smoked marijuana, partied my ass off because I wanted to numb and quiet that inner critic. And what happens when you smoke marijuana? You get the munchies, and now you're eating toxic food, or you wake up hungover, and then you need coffee and sugar and things like to like pick you back up again. So these coping mechanisms lead to more destructive coping mechanisms. And it's all because there's an inner dialogue that isn't really kind. It's not self loving. If you really tune in, it's based on a story that's actually not true, that you can rewire, you can reprogram, you can learn a new way. And that's part of the juju, the juice of the juice cleanse, is when we sit with these emotions that come up and you have the support to navigate them. It's not just me, it's my mama, but I also bring in, as you'll learn from Madison, is a psychic. She literally, we call her a psychic surgeon. She will go in and cut these toxic things out and can see your entire energy field, your light field, and see what's off. Mind blowing work. But I have magical friends in this town that are that level capable of clearing the energy and supporting you and feeling like I can breathe and I have clarity and like all of these things that were kind of like stuck and holding me heavy and clamped down and not able to see my purpose and not able to see like what's right for me. I have so many gifts. Why aren't I being used? Like for years, I was like, Spirit, use me. Like use this vessel for good. And it took a midlife crisis, me being on my knees begging for guidance, running completely out of money. Multiple times I got the insufficient funds text to finally getting the call from my mother, "Let's open this restaurant." And I said, it was a full body, "Yep, we're doing it." And for 20 years, she's been wanting to do this business and I've been rejecting it because I wasn't clear enough in my vessel to go into business with my mother and know that I could navigate all of the challenges that I knew would come up because we're very, very strong women. She likes her way, I like my way. And I didn't have the tools yet. And it was actually thanks to a Bufo session that I realized I could actually allow my mother's love in. I could receive from my mother. It's safe to receive her love. And it was like opening the floodgates to her love. And then I could say yes. Like within a few days, it was a yes. So I invite you. I don't prescribe anything. I am not a healer. My mom and I's job is to support you in activating the innate healing ability of your own body. You heal you of all of these experiences, symptoms, dis-ease in the body. We just give you the tools to do so. We'll show you what's causing the root cause of the dis-ease, and we'll support you in providing the body with the nutrients so that it does the job of healing and detoxifying. We are living in a toxic soup at the moment. And so it's so important that we get the toxicity out of our homes. Essential. I say this a million times on the podcast. I'm going to keep saying it. What you put on your skin is going into your bloodstream. What you're lathering on your head, what you're brushing your teeth with, what you're washing your clothes with, what you're smelling in your home, the perfumes, the sprays, the trash bags with this fragrance. These are hormone imbalancing, literally thyroid disrupting chemicals that are being put in so many products, so many common products. Natural flavors, y'all, are not natural. And they can be a list of 200 plus. If you say fragrances or natural flavors, they can be an endless list of chemicals that they don't have to actually list one by one. And preservatives is a whole nother game. The preservatives, I can't advocate strongly, and I don't actually hear enough people talking about them. They are designed to kill bacteria, and they are destroying your gut microbiome and your health. So natural foods, what grows out of the land. These hands are designed to pick fruits and vegetables. These teeth are designed to grind plant matter and fiber. Your intestines are long for all that fibrous matter to take its time going through the column, and so you can absorb all those nutrients. A carnivore's colon is short and super acidic. That's to get the meat in, digested, and out before it gets rancid. And you can tell this when you look at, especially these Texans, they're grown men, they're not overweight, but they've got a 9-month pregnant belly that is stuck meat, that is undigested proteins, that is not stuck salad. So we have to start looking at our diets. We have to start looking at how our lifestyles throughout the day are contributing to our own disease and the pollution of our planet, which we need to start taking care of as human race. We are living on one finite planet. We are one human race. We like to separate ourselves and say we're the chosen people or whatever. Not true. We're all chosen. We're all here. And we're all depending on the same ocean system, the same air system, we're all relying on it. And so this whole planet, all of humanity, needs to start respecting nature with much greater intensity and intention. It should be what is taught in schools. Well, two things. How to use your intuition, because that is our greatest gift. How to tune into your body, tune into spirit, and ask for guidance, and tune into what's good for me, what's not good for me. Is this aligned for me? Is this relationship good for me? Is this food good for me? Is this product aligned for me? In this moment, it can shift. Things can shift, but tuning in all the time is essential. And then how do we treat the planet with more respect? How do we consider that when we're washing our dishes or our laundry and we're using detergent that's toxic and putting bleach down the drain, that's going into our river systems and then into the oceans and toxifying and polluting the very ecosystems that we're dependent on? So that is my mission. My mission is to elevate humanity to have a greater respect for their own well-being, the environment's well-being, and the sentient beings that we share this planet with. And that's what I'm doing with this Conscious Radio, Conscious Kitchen Radio. And I invite you to join me on this mission. Please check the show notes for how you can connect with me, join our wellness family, learn more about the Conscious Cleanse. We're having a cohort starting January and then another one in February. Connect with my mama and I about some health support if you need it, and tune in. And if you're a speaker and you have a message, please, this is my juju. This is my happy place, is shining a light on other people's wisdom, because that's what my way of doing that really is, bringing in wisdom. And so you'll hear that throughout the year. I meet such fabulous humans here in Austin. I'm so beyond blessed with the magnificence and elevated consciousness that's here, that's being called into Austin. It's such a mecca for high vibration beings that have really done the work because of their own need to do the work. They're all been on a healing journey themselves. And that's really what it takes to often step into our highest selves. And I've always said this, like your parents' flaws can become, if you choose, your greatest gifts. So my mom's lack of awareness of the people around her has become my greatest gift. I am hyper aware of everyone's experience in my field. Like she would walk down the grocery store and run into people's ankles with the shopping cart. And I'm like, Mom. And I'd walk behind and apologize profusely to them. But that became my greatest gift. I can tune into someone's field and feel them and sense them and know, like, oh, are you okay? What's happening for you today? Like, I can feel there's an energy drainage or like, what's holding you back? Oh, wow, you're vibrating. You're radiating. What have you been doing? It's so cool. I can really tune in to this. Just becomes my gift, right? My mom's hyper desire to have things done her way because that's the way she created safety for herself. And I, as a kid, interpreted as I can't get anything right because no matter what I do, it's not right for mommy. I'm getting everything wrong. And then I had fear of doing things because I'm going to fail, right? I had to navigate that whole imprint and that whole neural pathway had to be rewired so that I was like, no, 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 that had nothing to do with me. I don't have to take that personally. She just has a desire to teach and has a very strong desire to have things done her way. And so do I. I get to recognize that's also a mirror for me. I get to see these things too and how they live within me. And there's a desire to control is really a desire to be safe. Yeah. So I share all this because I want the most epic year for all of us. I think this is to come full circle, the year of the one, where we each get to step into our power. We get to speak our truth. We all now have access to having our own TV channel, essentially, with YouTube and Instagram, and there's no filter. We don't need a publisher. We can step up and share our message anytime we want. And let's use this to elevate humanity. Let's use this to step into our own power and to navigate the BSBs, I call them, bullshit beliefs that are having us play small. And please reach out to me and let me guide you in this part. It's such a blessing and such an honor for me to share the 25 years of personal development I've done. I've lived in the self-help section at the end of the library, right? I lived there until I figured all this out. And I now I'm in business. I'm like in the field doing the work. And I've learned how to sit down and have the heart to hearts and face each other. I hold my mother's hands. We take deep breaths. We co-regulate together. We look eye to eye. I won't start talking until she looks me in the eye. Because when you're looking apart, you're not connecting. You want to connect. You want to get on the same frequency, same energetic imprint. And now we can speak heart to heart. Now we can communicate. Now she can share with me her needs. What is she experiencing? And I repeat back to her, okay, this is what I'm hearing you say. Is this accurate? Am I missing anything? I repeat back to her, and am I missing anything? And then she feels heard. I get to actually hold my perspective and hers in my body, and I can then have compassion for how she's feeling. And then when I communicate, it's from a place of compassion, like, oh, I really understand why you think this and feel this way. And that must suck. I'm sorry you feel this way. And this is from my perspective, my experience. And then I have her repeat that back to me. And now she's holding my perspective. And suddenly we're in a dialogue that we can navigate these BSBs, these bullshit beliefs, and create new stories together. Like, okay, I don't want to think that no matter what I do is not good enough for you. Great. Well, she doesn't want to think that I don't want to learn from her. And like she wants to feel like she's an older, wiser woman and that she wants to pass on her wisdom to her daughter. It's so natural. And until I understood that, now I can receive her blessings. Now I don't experience control. I experience a desire to teach. What a shift. There's still, I love you, mama. There's still a desire to control, but it's fear-based and I can recognize that. It's a deep-rooted desire to have things done her way because she has the experience of it succeeding. And I deeply want to experience my way succeeding. And so we get to navigate that. But that's what these relationships support you in doing. And so it's a blessing when someone shows up that challenges you. And if they're super toxic and they don't want to sit with you heart to heart and they don't want to have these like high level conversations and make the changes that are needed, then it's your job to create a safe space for yourself and remove yourself and express that clearly. Like there's a consequence to you not wanting to show up in a way that serves me, in a way that supports me, or a way that's not toxic. The consequences is I leave, or the consequences, whatever feels appropriate in that moment. Boundaries require consequences, and you'll learn that from the podcast with Sloan very, very clearly. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Please come visit us at Conscious Kitchen. We have amazing food. My mother is a master chef. It's such a blessing to share her genius and to get to learn from her. And if you are experiencing any dis-ease in the body, please come talk to us. We are here for you. We want to support you. We want to guide you through this journey back to your own body's innate wisdom to heal. And if you have a genius, please also connect with me and share it with me so that we can get you on this podcast and you can share your wisdom with my audience as well. All right, my dears. I love you. Welcome to 2026. It's going to be a magical year. I'm so excited. I love you all.